Today's Monday, May 25th. It's 3 o'clock by the time we are filming this. Hey, Chicago sports, or what is being left of it. Cubs lose. Chicago Cubs lose.
Yep.
9 in a row now. And it's,
We're going to just try to make this show strictly to the point with the Cubs. As my co-host started out for...
I made a 45-minute episode yesterday, and I'm just going to rehash some of the same things I said yesterday. They're not very good. I'm mad because I know how to feel, but I'm not really mad anymore because it was quite humorous seeing them fail today. I'm a Cub fan. I mean, I wanted them to win, but they had a trick play that went terribly wrong. Armstrong played like crap today. He went 0 for 4, and he didn't look all that great in center field. Pedro Ramirez at second base had granted it's only his second game he's ever played, but the ball hit him right in the glove, and he couldn't catch it. There was a lot of line drive hitting that went straight to the first baseman, and the Pirates were laughing at you the entire game. They don't respect you. They don't like you. They certainly don't like Armstrong. They certainly don't. No one really does. Alex Bregman got thrown out by 5 miles.
But the Marquee Network with that never showed how he got.
No. They didn't show the replay of it.
Was it supposed to be a delayed steal that he didn't go on? Was it supposed to be a hit and run that somebody missed a sign? Was it a straight steal? Was it, did he get a running start? Yeah, but the Marquee Network, it was, again, Bregman's the highest annual paid person.
So it could be one of the Ricketts saying, hey, I paid him, don't make him look bad.
Yeah.
But you've now lost 9 in a row. We were laughing at the Mets for losing, 12 in a row? Well, at this point, lose 10.
To sit there and go, how could a Major League Baseball team lose? And I may have mentioned that in a prior, when the Philadelphia lost 10 in a row in the Mets. It's hard to lose that many games in any major league sport. To lose that many, and especially if you're losing that many when you're supposed to be pretty good.
They were favored to be a playoff team. They were favored to be pretty good.
I have to step.
And there's a lot more of the game left to be played.
I got to get some math here.
We'll go right ahead, but.
How many wins have the Cubs got now? What's the record now?
I don't know. Well, you should have looked this up before we did this episode, man.
Okay, 29 and... Well, they're 29. 29 and 25 now, right?
Yeah, go with that.
All right, so that's 54 games total, minus 161. There happens to be 107 games left. Okay, to get to that magical 90, okay, that Craig Counsell says we're a 90-win team. There's minus 29, 9, 8. Okay, you got to win.
Are you going to tell our audience
I am.
what this number is?
I am.
Cool, go right ahead.
I'm double checking here. Let's see, 107 games left, and you have 29 wins. So that's going to be.
Because I kind of want to talk about the game. So
go right ahead. Talk about the game now. I'm doing the math.
Thank you. The catcher, his name's Henry Davis or something. I don't know. The Pirates, he hits like 135. He beat you today. Ben Brown went 7 innings, and they took him out. And all the relief pitchers that they have currently, letting Ryan Presley go was a bad idea. Letting Craig Kimbrell go was a bad idea. And he compared it today of the basketball transfer portal of where this group of people leave and they go away, and we're going to get this group of people, but we're not going to really keep them. You know, they didn't keep Bellinger, they didn't keep Kyle Tucker. Now they have Alex Bregman, and Bregman is not looking good at all. Carson Kelly we don't know how much longer he'll be here. Seiya Suzuki's at the end of his 5-year contract, and he hardly played today. And it's just, they just don't play good. They're not a good baseball team. All the guys who are on this team have basically already had careers that have already happened. They just showed today the graph of Jameson Taillon for 10 years of playing. Yay, all well and well. But Taillon is not Kerry Wood, not Carlos Zambrano, and he's certainly not Jake Arrieta. They're just not a very good team. And you can blame a lot on Council. We can blame a lot on the players, but mostly I'm going to go with ownership and high management here, because to me they're not any different from what they were in, actually no, they are. It's just in 2010, 11 and 12 there were guys that you liked, but they simply weren't very good. Here, there's very few people here on this team that I like. I don't think you like any of them, really. And
I can live with Horner, Suzuki.
Okay, that's 2 guys. Who else?
That might be
it?
Of the starters. I think, I don't know about Shaw, because the verdict is still out on Shaw, because he didn't get much of a chance last year, and he's certainly not getting a chance this year.
And you think he would? With a 9-game losing streak, you got the number here. Do you want to tell?
The Cubs have to go to get to their 90. They got to go right now, 61 and 47. They got to play 14 games over 500 from this point.
That's tough to do.
Okay. And they're only 5. I mean, they can't end up 14. They got to win 61.
That'd be very tough to do.
They got to go 61 and 47 to get to the 90.
But are they even going to be a wild card team? Because
yes, they're going to be a wild card.
They're going to be a playoff wild card team.
Yes, because this.
So why are we complaining about this now?
Well, because the Cubs, according to Ricketts and Council, are not built on being a wild card team. They're built on winning the division. And that's the aggravation of the whole thing. Because now it's like, because we shouldn't even have shows. Because the Cubs are going to, first of all, Major League Baseball made a huge mistake with having 7 teams in the playoffs. Okay? And with 7 teams in the playoffs, a team that's got a $480 million payroll should get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay? And as you always said, getting into the playoffs, the only people who can win a World Series are the people going to the playoffs. So no, we should not be aggravated. Okay? Okay. But according to them at the beginning of the year, winning 90 games would equate to winning the division. Okay? And they're not even close to that. Yeah. No. They're going, because they're going to get in the mid 80s of wins. They're going to. Unless, if they don't, then it is a major collapse. Okay. If this team don't finish 500, it's a major collapse. But they got to do better than 81 and 81.
Well, you watching the game today, you said they had the 10-game win streaks. If they didn't have that, and then they ran into the 9-game losing,
Yeah, if they didn't win, if they haven't, that's a very good point. If they did not win 20 out of 23, if they just played 500 ball then and have lost 9 in a row, then we would have to talk some people off ledges. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you sit there and go, as we just said, it's hard to, sooner or later, the law of averages, you can't keep going around. I mean, yesterday I went to Eastern Illinois. I attended Eastern Illinois. But yesterday I went to Eastern Illinois University championship game against Arkansas Little Rock. And you sat there and go, I didn't realize this until Arkansas Little Rock beat Eastern their last 6 games. So you figured in a championship game, law of averages, right? Eastern's got to win this next one, right? They can't lose 7 in a row to the same team, can they? Well, they did. You sit there and go, the Cubs have lost 9 in a row, and in that period of time, 3 of those losses were against the Sox and Pittsburgh. And you sit there and go, they're playing Pittsburgh. They can't lose 10 in a row tomorrow. Law of averages. They can't do that. But they got to play against Bubba Chandler and Ashcroft and Skeens with who's left and the Cubs are starting Wicks tomorrow. The guy with the fake glasses,
Javier
Assad, and probably Colin Ray are the next 3 for the Cubs.
And they're all bad.
So could this go to 12 in a row?
That's the other thing. All their pitchers are either terrible or they're all hurt. I say it every day. But that's what they are. You and I both agree today that Miguel Amaya behind home plate, the catcher, he's really done nothing in his time of being here.
And the thing about those guys are the hype that they, Cub catching has just been. They've got Amaya in the AAA. Wait till he comes up, and he has done nothing.
Well, you also mentioned Pedro Ramirez. With all the other great AAA people, you haven't heard of him. And why is he playing second base?
Yeah, you got a Gold Glover. You got
Why was he playing second base?
You got one of 2 guys last year to hit 300 in the National League. They're struggling. He's the Horner we're talking about. Horner's the second highest batting average you got in your team. Their team is struggling, and you put a guy in there
who has never really played before.
Game 2, and this is the guy, and you're replacing
in the middle of a losing streak.
Yes,
but you paid Nico Horner. You extended Nico Horner. Why are you benching him?
Yeah. The questions shouldn't be whether the Cubs are going to make the playoffs.
I think that question can be made.
The other questions are, like you just said,
can be made. Yeah, I think it can.
Why is this guy playing second? And Nico Horner sitting out.
Okay. They played 4 games, and they lost the first game to Pittsburgh. So they're going to play 4 games against Pirates. They'll play 3 games against Cardinals. That's 7 division games right there. You could still lose all of them.
If you go 2-5,
and they've already lost 9 in a row.
If you go 2-5 in with these 7 games in the division,
there you go.
You might find
Milwaukee already kicked their ass.
You might find yourself next Monday, June 1st.
There you go.
Being in last place.
And you think there'll be a wild card team?
But the division, like they said on the radio, on the TV today, from first to last, there's only a difference of 4.5 games. So you could go on another tear.
When you lose 9 games in a row.
Okay, but, right.
Because how many teams have lost 10 in a row and made playoffs in baseball? How many have done that?
Well, as you said, there's Well, Philadelphia lost 10 in a row early. So that division with the second and third place teams, and the Mets were the other one, they're on the bubble on whether or not they're going to get in the playoffs. Okay? After the Padres, okay, you're dealing with Arizona and the Giants. So none of those, they're not. And then you got the Cubs division where you got other than the Brewers, you got those 4 other teams. Okay? And here's the thing that I'm afraid of from a personal standpoint. If the Cubs lose 3 out of 4 to Pittsburgh, which then means 3 out of 4, and then they've lost 13 out of 14, and then they go, people will come out of the woodwork, out of witness protection, because they play the Cardinals, and all the chirping will be coming, on, all those great Cardinal players they got now, they're going to replace the Cubs and blah, blah, blah. And Ali Marmol's going to be a genius and blah, blah, blah. And, the best thing is, and here's the deal with Cardinal fans. If the Cubs keep losing 12 out of 13, sooner or later they're going to bust it out. And maybe they're just going to bust it out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Busch Stadium and just kick the royal shit out of the Cardinals to break this slump. That would be the icing on the cake. And that could happen. But no, things are... And the Marquee Network, after the game, they're all trying, Ben Brown had a quality start. Bottom line is they still lost.
They lost 9
I agree with you. Pete Crow Armstrong's 3 line drives to the first baseman were over 100. He went 0 for 4. Okay.
Again.
I mean, would you rather have rockets being caught or base hits with rolled up newspapers that were bleeding and that land in front of 3 guys that are backbreakers?
What has Armstrong done? Let me say this. Cub fans, off topic, why is he the only one that gets a chant, Cub fans?
Yeah.
What has he done?
We kind of have to, and maybe some of our audience is tired of hearing us, but they all know how, and you're right. What has he done?
No, really, what has he done?
Okay. Well,
he's not going to make the All-Star game.
Okay, but he's paid for writing on the 1 year. Okay.
So 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases gets you $120 million.
If it's a guy that you didn't want to lose, the answer is yes.
Sammy Sosa hit 60 home runs 3 times.
No, but nobody got any.
Sosa hit 60 3 times.
But there has never been a player, Ernie Banks, Ron Santo, Billy Williams,
because
no one got the chance that Sammy got.
No, let me say this. And the thing that's really pissing me off, you got to see, for example, you saw 1969 to you, that's still your favorite team.
Yes, and it's their best team.
Because they had the 5 Hall of Famers on the team. And they had Leo DeRocher, they had Billy Williams, they had Banks, Sano, and Ferguson Jenkins. 1980s, they had Grace and Ryan Sandberg and Jody Davis,
right,
and Steve Trout and Keith Moore and
right,
Andre Dawson,
right,
all these other great people. They had Sosa in the night. Anyway, I forgot about Randy Myers and Kerry Wood, but anyway, I was a Cub fan growing up. Everyone wants to tell me how god-awful Cub history is, and they're not any good. And a lot of Cub fans kind of believed that bullshit, kind of bought into it. The ones of my generation and the ones right before me. But anyway, so many of them, they just go goo-goo for Gaga. They go, what is it, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
Yeah.
They go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over Pete Crow Armstrong. And is he now hitting 220 officially?
Well, he's under 225. He's 224.
Even better.
He's getting closer to the 2 teens. Okay, but the
and he played like shit again today in center field.
But the chance
he went 0 for 4 again.
Right.
He is the main attraction on a team that is gonna lose 10 in a row.
But we have to accept that.
No, I don't. No, I do not.
Okay.
No, I do not.
Because we don't want to argue in front of things here, but Sammy got more cheers than anybody in history of the
And
Chicago Cubs.
then after he got done playing, this great fan base turned their backs on him.
But during that time, okay, because I could sit there and go, Sammy Sosa's no Ernie Banks. He's no Billy Williams. He's no Ron Santo. He's no Ferguson Jenkins. Okay. He's no Kerry Wood. None of those guys got a chance. Sammy did. You know what? But that's just how it is. But the baseball fan base now is different. Baseball fan base is different. Okay. Young people who are going to the ballpark want to see the posers. They want to see.
Then take your Cub hat off.
Okay.
Get the hell out of my fan base.
Okay.
Get far the hell away from my team. This is my team.
It's gone to the point now. We're in St. Louis. They take the cover, and guys they're going to the ballpark so they can take their shirts off in center field to say the tarp is coming off, and I guess 40 guys from Austin P started this or something. Austin P University or baseball. They went.
Why you bring it up?
But that's what's now in the bleachers with these people, okay, and.
Then don't call yourself a Cub fan. Then don't call yourself...
Okay.
Because if you like Pete Crow Armstrong... No, be real with me. If you are convinced they're better off with Ian Happ than they would have been with Kyle Schwarber, then don't call yourself a Cub fan.
But again, and I know it's last year and it's only been 54 games here, but statistically, and I've always said statistics are for losers. Statistically speaking, what Pete Crow Armstrong did last year numerically in the home run category, the RBI category, and the stolen base category were very, very good.
No, it's pedestrian. He didn't lead the league in any category.
No.
It's pedestrian.
No.
He did not lead the league in any category. He didn't, so it's pedestrian. If you play 162 games and you get 30 home runs, that's really not a lot. Last year, Cal Raleigh, for the Seattle Mariners, he's a switch-hitting catcher. Did he not hit 60 home runs?
He did.
Did he not?
He did.
Did Ronald Acuna? I know it was a while ago. He had 40 home runs, 70 stolen bases.
But Pete, but again, I'm not an Armstrong fan, but RBI-wise, I think he was top 5 in the National League.
That's the other thing that pisses me off. Why are they not playing like that right now?
That's the argument, and that is the criticism that should be centered on. Okay? Yes, he should,
Why?
But once again, all these productions and chants and stuff, those were all made. Now, should the Cubs be running them as often as... No, they should probably be taking them back. Okay? But those were all made after the season.
Because last year, it was the 149th year of the team. They broke team records for hitting the home run, and they still did not win the division champion. They were a wild card team. And they lost Game 5 of the NLDS.
And since they were a wild card team last year, and the only acquisition they made was basically Bregman for Tucker. That's the same thing.
So who's after him? Who's it going to be next? Because you didn't keep Bellinger. You didn't keep. No. I'll go even further. Nick Castellanos. So they didn't keep Castellanos. They didn't keep Bellinger. They didn't keep Jason Kipnis. They did not keep who else? They didn't keep Craig Kimbrell. They didn't keep.
Are you talking in when
I'm just saying in general.
the last couple?
The last couple of years.
Well, you could go on and on for that old 2016
Yeah, you can.
team.
I'm talking about guys that joined the team later.
But
But
the aggravation is, first of all, how are you? They're going to be in double digits if they lose tomorrow. How could any major league team?
see, I want them booed. See, because they're on this 7-game-long road trip. When they come back, I want them booed. I want them booed.
And they might.
And they deserve it.
And they might. But if they, from here on out, if they go 5-2, or I'll say this, if they get swept by Pittsburgh, but they end up sweeping the Cardinals, they're not going to get booed. Because they're going to come back and go, they've won 3 in a row, they beat the Cardinals, the team they can't stand. They're gaining a couple games on Milwaukee. They're not going to get booed. And in reality, they would have lost 10, 14. They would have lost 14 out of 17. That's booable. But the 3 they're going to win. The big 3 is this coming weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah.
They didn't win today.
No.
They lost 2-1. And look at the Pirates team. None of them were very good.
No, they had Ozuna is batting $185, and the kid that hit the home run
It's
is
135.
139. He was 135. He is the lowest. He has the lowest average of all major leaguers who are eligible to be qualified to win a batting title.
And they lost 2-1. It wasn't like 5-0 or 7-0 or 13-3. They lost 2-1. And the opposing pitcher was basically wild for most of the duration.
Well, we
of the
looked
game.
yesterday.
And they had how many men on base did they have? Did they strand?
I believe they had 8 men they stranded. They had the bases loaded in the second inning and didn't get a run, and they had first and second in the third inning and didn't score a run.
The only time that they scored was Michael Busch's home run. That was it.
And we looked yesterday about run differential, and again, that one, the run differential one, again, I'm big on statistics are for losers, but right now the Cubs, they were plus 30, but now with this differential, I think they're plus, after they take, plus 28 in the win-loss. Meaning if you have more wins than losses, your run production should be a lot more than plus 30. Especially when you won 20 out of 23. Yeah. But they're
terrible. Let's say it. They're not very good.
But are they in? Well, the Cardinals lost, so the Cubs could pick up a game on the Cardinals. We haven't checked, but it's even with the Cubs' loss, it's possible. That they're in third. I don't think Cincinnati's still behind them. Pittsburgh might have gained a game on them, but I think the Cubs are still in third place, maybe a game out of second.
But when you want to be, okay, because the Cubs went so long not winning the World Series anyway, and people love to make fun of the Cub fan and the Cub player, Cubs organization, what have you. Okay, they have 17 National League pennants. They have 8 division titles. They've made the NLCS 4 times in my life. They've won the National League in my life. They've won the World Series in the last 24 years. That's happened. But yet, when you want to be taken seriously as a real organization, this big, bad, dangerous, highly competitive team, and your high bar is Pete Crow Armstrong, you can go screw. Seriously, I'm not kidding with it. Go take a hike.
Well, I don't know. From fandom is correct, but from a pay.
Well, I mean, clearly that
Well-
they're all over him.
Okay, well, they didn't want to lose him, but he's still their fourth or fifth highest paid. You know, he's not even in the remote. He's not even in the area code with Bregman. and
Bregman might not
Swanson.
even be here next year.
Correct. But they
Ian Happ and Suzuki might not even be here next year.
correct.
Carson Kelly might not even be here next year.
But Bregman at $37.5 million annually.
Half of the pitchers might not even be here next year.
You know, my aggravation is Bregman with $37.5 million. Okay? And what's left on Swanson, I think Swanson is now at $32 million a year.
And Swanson's almost done.
I think he's got 2 after this.
I could see him retiring after this.
Okay. You know, so
Because he has not been swinging the bat very good
now
in the last couple of years.
a lot of people would say 100 and if you break it down, $120 million for 6 years is only $20 million a year. And some people would say that's not a lot of money in baseball standpoint, but that's a lot of money to give somebody who's unproven. Okay. And you're basically paying on 1 year of Pete Crow Armstrong. That's it. Okay?
And you want to lie to me that the batting average should be 241? You want to tell me that the batting average got to be 241?
That's what Major League averages is 241.
Then why are you in the MLB? Really, why are you in? Because there's a lot of guys in the MLB who simply should not be there.
Well,
That's a conversation I'm never going to win.
But the argument now is that pitching is dominating hitting. And
When they only pitch 4 innings,
yeah,
at a minimum, based off of average.
yeah, you know, the whole pitching thing, I'm not going to get into that because I'm not, you know, I'm good.
Say it. You want to say it?
You know, no, the way that they're giving credit for pitchers now is ridiculous. You know, they have what are called quality starts. Ben Brown had a quality start, but he had a loss. Well, he didn't have the loss. Thornton gave up the home run. But, you know, first of all, if your starting pitcher doesn't get a win, I think should not be a quality start. If your pitcher doesn't go 6 innings, there should be no quality start. People are getting credit for 5, and then they want to lower the potential of quality starts to 4 innings. No. And everybody's saying, well, if you look at the World Series, you know, in the playoff games, how many teams are pitching bullpen by committee? Yeah, they say the Dodgers do it. They say the other team was Tampa. You know, bullpen by committee. Where they would get, you know, Dodgers in a World Series last year, I think, in Toronto. Guys were coming in and pitching 1 inning and getting 9 guys for 1 inning, and they're winning. Okay, that's a strategy. Dodgers have won a World Series, but there should be no. I mean, so you could go and throw 100 miles. If you got 9 guys that can throw 100 miles an hour, and they're fresh arms, chances are they're going to beat. Because good pitching will always beat good hitting. I've said that from day one, and it's going to continue.
Yeah, you also said a guy who can play short, second, can play center field. That's what Javier Baez is doing.
Okay, you know, so, you know, what's considered to be a quality start and all that stuff, they're patting people on the back for pitchers who, in the big picture, are not doing a hell of a lot. We watched the game today. The guy came in, the second pitcher for Pittsburgh. This was his 4th game, and he only pitched 7 innings. Meaning he's pitching 1 inning an appearance, 1.4 innings an appearance. When your appearances are that close to innings pitched, something's wrong. Something is wrong. You know, And I'm going back to my old days. You know, Goose Gossage would come in for the Sox and pitch 3 innings and get a save. Not this, you know, I'm going to pitch, you know, it's ridiculous. You know, and pitchers are getting pats on the back. Okay? And hitting is tougher. Without question, the hardest thing in all of sports to do is hit a baseball.
Okay, but the comment being, oh, they're bigger, stronger, and faster. They're all. If batting average now is hitting 241, Tony Gwynn never hit 241. Ted Williams never hit 241. DiMaggio, Simmons never hit 241.
250.
Paul Molitor never hit 241.
If you're hitting 250, that's 1 out of every 4 times you're up the bat, you get a base hit.
Yes, I understand. Baseball's a game of failure. But don't lie to me that being below average is the average.
No.
Don't lie to me on that.
No, because next year.
Don't lie to me on
Next year at this time, you're gonna lose your mind because.
that. They won't be good next year.
No, not them, but the batting average might be 237. And then people are going to say, well, if you're hitting 240 and you're 3 points above the average, you're better. You know, that's a head spinner. Because 237, people who hit 237 20 years ago would never even be called up. They would get DFA'd in a heartbeat. And guys like Tony Gwynn and the stars, George Brett, Wade Boggs, Bill Madlock, guys that averaged over 300 in their career are looking and going, I'm 60 points better than this next guy, and this is what the average is.
Moises Alou was a lifetime 303 hitter.
You know,
What is Armstrong and Happ hitting?
you know. Happ is hitting 224, and Armstrong now is hitting 224.
And we're raising the stakes on this. We're getting high on this.
You know,
Like, we expect to win a division because of that. Say, oh, Armstrong doesn't need to hit.
well,
Oh, we need a third baseman. You had one. His name was Matt Shaw, and you paid big money to a guy that hasn't been great since he was stealing signs and stealing pitches. And you know that. Even funnier. No. You agree with me. You agree with me wholeheartedly on Alex Bregman. Don't play pretend that you don't.
no, I think you're agreeing with me. I said all those guys in Houston were cheaters.
Everyone knows
All of them.
that. Everyone knows that.
All of them.
And you pay big money for a guy who hasn't been very good since those particular days.
Because he doesn't have some kind of an electronic thing strapped to his chest and people banging garbage cans or whatever the technique was.
This is the first Cub team who I really don't like. There are very few redeemable qualities of anybody here.
Okay. You know, and you know, we're at a third.
And they're going to be worse by the end of the decade.
Well, that's a bold statement.
I mean, it is, but be real.
Because,
They have no one in double or triple A.
Okay, but they could come back. It's very possible. It's not out of the question that they could win 10 out of 13 and be now 17 games over 500 again, and everybody at Clark and Addison is going to be fine and dandy, and we're going to forget this 9-game stretch.
Miguel Amaya's been hurt twice. Cade Horton's been hurt twice. Justin Steele's been hurt twice. Stop me if I'm wrong. Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki are in contract years.
No.
Dansby Swanson is over 30 and has not been swinging the bat really.
I'm agreeing with you, but agree with me that even though everything you said is true, if the Cubs win 10 out of 13 and they're 17 games over 500, even with everything you have said, and they gain a couple of games on Milwaukee, everything's going to be rosy at Clark and Addison. Even with the stuff you mentioned.
I think it'll be very tough to
No one's going to sit there and go, geez, you know what, we're a game out of first with Milwaukee, but next year, Ian Happ is going to be gone. I don't think that mindset's going to happen until late September. Because like you said, they go to Wrigley Field for the fandom stuff. And if the Cubs are winning, that's all great. Very few people who are going to Wrigley Field think like you and I.
See, I want wins. Unlike most of you out there, I want wins.
And yeah,
But again, most of you are Bear fans, and you all thought Justin Fields was good. So it doesn't really surprise me that most of you love Pete Crow Armstrong. Doesn't surprise me.
well, we haven't gotten any comments one way or the other on either one. But if you agree or disagree with how we feel about Armstrong or Fields, about anybody else for that matter, feel free to
You lose 9 in a row. You lost 9 in a row. Somehow, some way, this is David Ross's fault. Somehow, some way. You think David Ross couldn't lose 9 in a row? You think Joe Madden couldn't lose 9 in a row? Because what has Counsell done that's any better than Joe Madden?
Counsell.
What has he done any better than David Ross?
Well, I'll give you an answer.
Go right ahead.
Counsell has not been impressive at $8 million a year, and that's the end of the story. And you can berate and rag on it all you want, but the bottom line is, the simple fact is, Counsell is not worth $8 million a year.
I don't.
Period.
Think, no one on this team, I don't think is.
So.
There might not even be because we had the moment of realization. There very well could not be a baseball season next year.
The strike or whatever work stoppage or whatever term you want to use is it's rearing its ugly head.
So would you consider that to be a wasted year?
I don't know how that works. I don't know if they still get paid and that's a credited year.
No, I wasn't referring to that. I was saying, would you refer it to be a wasted year as a fan?
If there's no baseball?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Within the context of man, I really hope my team wins.
Well, if there was no... Imagine in the summer if there was no Major League Baseball. Period. If there was no NBA, you still have football rolling up. You got college football. You got college basketball. Okay, you got those things rolling in. When those seasons are done, okay, and you've got some hockey. In 2 weeks, thank God, in 2 weeks, the NBA is going to be done. Okay.
I got like 3 months of.
But you would go from basically June 1st until September 26th. That's when the last Major League Baseball game
is. Of basically nothing.
Of nothing. No sports anywhere. Okay?
Oh, well.
And, that is, and people will say, well, football mini camp, and there's no games until the football starts. I'm not watching mini camp and all of this. That's like watching spring training baseball, because all the guys the Cubs played, and you dogged on this. Craig Counsell says spring training don't mean nothing.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did say that. He did say that.
And all those guys,
I would have fired his ass right then and there.
And and if you're watching spring training baseball, you're watching guys who are not on a major league club, and that's why I don't watch spring training games, because you're watching guys that are in lower A ball or A ball, and you sit there and go, they don't even have their names on the back of their jerseys. Okay. They got a number and that's it. So, yeah, it's looming, and
We can't win 9 games in a row, but we can wear our sunglasses. We can wear multicolored accessories.
Well,
We can't win a baseball game. We can't score runs. But we can do all this other useless crap that doesn't matter.
but that's all trickled down even the grade school. Okay. And those guys, and it's even more than Armstrong, those guys who are doing that and allowing this to trickle down,
Really, who do you think you are, Pete Crow Armstrong? Who do you think you are? You think you're that great? You really think you're that good? I don't think you're that much better than me. I really don't think you are.
well, I've given enough time to this segment with the Cubs situation, and
Because we were laughing at the Mets. I hate the Mets. I don't know about you. I despise the Mets. I was laughing my ass off when they lost all those games in a row. Now the Cubs are 1 game away from double digits. And if you lose 9 in a row, you can certainly lose 10 in a row. And if you lose 10 in a row, what's stopping you from losing more and more games?
and Pittsburgh's weakest pitcher was today. That's the concerning thing with me. Ashcraft, Chandler, and Skeens, whichever order that is. That can get you to 12.
Because overall, other than those 2 mistakes in the field today, the Cubs overall didn't play terribly. They got 6 or 7 men on base, but they couldn't score them.
No.
They couldn't score them.
No, the moral people who get bunt hits and little bloopers, Texas leaguers that drop in front of 4 guys, those are demoralizing. Those are ball busters. Okay? And you can't pout. If you hit a screamer and the first baseman catches it 3 times, well then, all right, you hit it on the screws, but you're out. Period. That's it. And, it is what at the very end of it, you're 0 for 4. So the Cubs are in, Cubs regroup tomorrow. They got a 5:30 game in Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah, I got to play a night game.
If I'm counsel, I'm not experimenting with these young guys. I'm getting.
You're in the middle of a 9-game losing streak. You have to win now.
I'm getting the $480 million guys in there, and you're going to play, until you ride it out.
Because here's the other thing, in football, in NFL football, you lose 9 in a row, you're done. College football, you lose 9 in a row, you're done. High school football, you lose 9 in a row, you're done. Basketball is different. Hockey is different.
Well, the more games you play.
Right, and that's what baseball is. Baseball plays more games than anyone. They play 162 games to be exact. Teams that lose 10 and more, teams that go on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-game losing streaks. Hell, the White Sox lost 20. Those teams don't come back. Those teams don't make it back.
I gave you the stats there. The Cubs got to play, to get to the 90, they got to play 14 games over 500 where they're at now. They're 5 games over 500 now. So they got to play still 14 games over. So they got to end up 19 games over 500 to win 90.
That's incredibly tough to do.
It is.
And you've now put yourself in this situation.
And every day that you lose, you got to gain 2 to catch up to get to that 61 and 47.
And another thing that's really pissing me off is last year I tried warning everybody, if the Cubs if they cannot hit multiple home runs in a game, if they don't have multiple home runs in a game, and you said that was, a miraculous fluke all last season, and you're turning out to be right. However, right now they're not hitting 25 each home runs. Like last year, each guy hit like 25 home runs, like roughly.
I haven't checked. I have not done the stats on that, but it's possible that the Cubs, with their regular 8 players,
Yeah.
had more guys hit 25 or more home runs than any other team in baseball. That includes the Yankees and the Phillies. I think they had 4 or 5, maybe even 6 guys that had 20 or more. I mean, Kelly had 20. Swanson had over 20.
Suzuki had 20.
Suzuki had over 20. Happ had over 20.
PCA had 30.
PCA had over 20.
There you go.
That's 5, and I think I'm missing somebody.
Horner had 12.
Bush had.
Bush.
That's 6.
That's a lot.
Now, you guys.
Oh, Kyle Tucker had 24.
That's 7. That's 7 players that the Cubs had that hit over 20 home runs. I bet no other team in Major League Baseball. Now, Cal Raleigh had 60, but I don't think Seattle had 6 other guys that hit over 20. Schwarber had 50-something. Harper, but did they have 5 other guys that hit 20?
See, now they can't do that. Now they're forced to actually play baseball. See, the best comparison to this, remember when Brad Underwood's Fighting Illini was in the Final Four and they couldn't make a 3? They couldn't make a 3-point to save their day? Then they actually had to play basketball and they lost? That's basically what this is. Now you're actually forced to play baseball because you've had all these freak injuries happen. Most of your pitchers were masked last year, because everyone behind them was hitting home runs.
So, it's... And these are the same players that did it last year, and the question is, why ain't they doing it now?
Did the hitting philosophy change?
Who's the real player, this year or last year? I think it's this year because those guys haven't did it before. If Michael Bush did what he did years before, would the Dodgers have left him off their roster?
And he was in the Dodgers minor league organization for like 5 or 6 years.
And the Dodgers would have said no.
But he's a shade under 30. All these guys are just a shade under 30 or a shade over 30. They're not a young team by any stretch of the means.
I haven't done that math on what the average is
And
to see where they're at.
they traded away Owen Casey because they didn't have a third starter. And Edward Cabrera is hurt, gone for 15 days. Blister on his middle finger.
Well, okay, but with a pitching deal, 15 days means 2 starts.
Still.
That is, but with a pitcher, unless you're 60 days or out, you're going to miss 2 starts.
12 of the pitchers last year, and I said it last year, were negative WAR. And they knew it.
But all right, we could continue.
We can continue this for another hour.
But you guys are probably tired of listening. And we said this segment was just going to be, dealing with the Cubs that are 9 games skid. And
they're not a first place.
And to put a topper on this, and I know the Southsiders play in the American League, but I think there's a difference of 1 game in the win column if the Sox win today. I think the Sox will have 27 wins, and the Cubs got 20, so it'll be 2 in the win column. But we'll check in. If the Cubs win tomorrow, we'll probably have a show. If they lose, I think we're going to ride it out. We probably won't. I don't want to do another show until they win one in Pittsburgh.
You don't want to do another one for a while?
No, not for a while. We'll wrap things up. If the Cubs win tomorrow, we'll definitely have a show.
So the Cubs go on like what? They lose 5 more games in a row.
No, we'll have one after we're going to have a show right before the St. Louis series,
Okay.
without question.
Okay.
Okay, and I wish I had a IHSA score of a school who had a 10 o'clock game this morning. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. Hopefully you won so I could see you down the road. But according to the great IHSA, they have not posted any, and it's, what, 4 o'clock now? What do we got here? 10 after 4, and the IHSA score zone has not posted any early games on the Illinois High School
I-
Association. So,
Cannot
But-
believe
yeah, Cubs got 9 in a row.
they lost 9 in a row.
Lost 9 in a row. And that's all I got to say. Gonna start making some dinner tonight. Open face.
Let me say this.
Open face roast beef with red potatoes.
Let me say this. Because Chicago Cub baseball team, I hope you see this. If you don't beat St. Louis, and you don't get your heads out of your ass in St. Louis, you're going to come back and you're going to get booed at Wrigley Field. That's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Okay. All right.
But you know what? Hey, it's all well and good on Marquee Network, right?
All right. Hey, Chicago Sports, YouTube. Till either tomorrow victory or till the beginning of the Cardinal series, we're signing off.